Hello everyone, my name is Dakota and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, we talk about everything superhero related, and in today's video, we're going to be answering the question, who is Bullseye? With Daredevil Born Again coming out in less than 2 months, it's super important to know about these characters, so let's get right into it. Now we have a lot to cover, from comic book origins to the actual live action Daredevil series, but before we get into that, be sure to check out the links in the description down below to check out my Etsy where I make really cool necklaces that you don't want to miss out on. And if you use code DAK that's D-A-K YouTube, you'll get 10% off your order. And while you're down there, go ahead and follow my Instagram where you can get some exclusive behind the scenes content and just keep up to date with me. Now let's jump right into the comic book origin of Bullseye. Now I won't spend too long on this because I do want to get to the live action Daredevil series portion of Bullseye because that's what we're going to be focusing on mainly, but I do think it's important to know some of the comic background. So Bullseye has gone by many different names, including Lester, Daredevil, Hawkeye, Dex, and many others, but his real name is Benjamin Poindexter. Bullseye's story is often compared to the Joker's. Both claim that they have a certain past, but nothing is 100% certain. In the 5-issue miniseries Bullseye's Greatest Hits, we've got the character's origin story, but later it's hinted that he may have made it all up. He first appeared in the Daredevil issue 131 in March of 1976 and was created by writer Marv Wolfman. Now Marv Wolfman has also helped create many other iconic characters, including Starfire, Black Cat, Vigilante, aka Adrian Chase, the only good part of Peacemaker in my opinion, but that's for another video, Nightwing, and many others. But I'm gonna jump ahead in the story just a little bit. So fast forward, Ben is placed in a foster home given that his mother, father, and brother all are dead, and that leaves him to the Wilkerson family. He describes them as being too nice, and they actually were the ones who got him into sports, making him the greatest player on his baseball team for obvious reasons, and this all leads to one of my favorite scenes within his origin. In the middle of an amazing game, he just decides, I'm bored and I don't want to do this anymore, and tells his coach to take him out. He's done. And for obvious reasons, his coach couldn't figure out why he wanted to be taken out of the game when he had a no-hitter going. Just then, the batter looks at him and says, "Got you scared, huh?" And Ben decides that he's gonna have a little fun. He then drills the batter with a fastball so hard it killed him, to which he said, "Bullseye." I mean, come on, the one-liner. And that just about covers the comic book origin of Ben Poindexter. Now let's move on to the Daredevil series. Bullseye first appears in season 3 of Daredevil, and he's often referred to as either Ben or Dex. We see a bit of his childhood, showcasing his violent tendencies, which leads him to seek a therapist who encourages him to channel his emotions constructively, particularly through baseball. Kudos to the Daredevil writers for the comic accuracy. A common theme to keep in mind when talking about Dex is mental illness and manipulation. Dex's arc explores the fragility of the human psyche and how unchecked trauma can be exploited. Dex's desire for validation contrasts sharply to Matt Murdock's self-awareness, making their rivalry deeply personal. Despite his actions, Dex elicits some sort of sympathy as his choices stem from manipulation and a lack of a healthy coping mechanism. But let's jump back into the key story points. Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, discovers Dex's past and manipulates him, offering false mentorship and fueling this hatred for Daredevil. Dex's idolization of Fisk creates a devastating power dynamic where Fisk just uses him as a weapon. So what is the conflict in Daredevil season 3? Well, I'm glad you asked. Dex impersonates Daredevil, tarnishing Matt Murdock's reputation and turning the city against him. Now let's talk a little bit about his downfall and transformation. And as I say downfall, I don't mean of the character itself, I just mean of his actions. Fisk initially manipulates Dex by playing on his vulnerabilities and offering him a father-like figure and the sense of structure that he craves. However, as Dex becomes more unhinged, Fisk grows wary of his instability, and he ultimately discards him when he becomes a liability, showcasing how expendable Dex was in Fisk's plans. This betrayal leaves Dex emotionally shattered and with no one to turn to and no purpose to hold on to. The moment Daredevil defeats him and exposes him as an imposter in the eyes of the others solidifies the sense of failure that deepens his rage and resentment. The final fight between Daredevil, Kingpin, and Bullseye leaves him physically broken. Kingpin slams him into a wall, severely injuring his spine, and this not only injures him, but also serves as a metaphor for his total loss of agency and control over his life. Now for the cliffhanger we've all been waiting for since 2018. In the final moments of Season 3, we see Dex undergoing surgery to repair his spine. The procedure involves cutting-edge technology, hinting at his eventual return with enhanced abilities. Now, in the comics, Dex's spine, skull, and fist were reinforced with strips of adamantium, which is also the same metal that coats Wolverine's skeleton, making his bones indestructible. This is also rumored to be the metal that makes up the new Captain America shield for Captain America Brave New World, which I am so excited for. So it's really cool to see the introduction of this quickly following Deadpool and Wolverine. So because Daredevil is also being introduced to the MCU, we can assume that adamantium will be used for Dex. Now, before we move on, there's a comment that I quickly want to point out that I read while doing research for this video, and that is that Ben is positioned to be in an inverted cross, being the inverse of everything that Matt stands for. And my jaw literally dropped while reading this. The imagery and symbolism within the Daredevil series never fails to amaze me. I could do an entire video on that alone. But for now, let's talk about the future of Bullseye and what's to come. With these newly enhanced abilities, we can expect to see Dex's revenge arc in Daredevil Born Again. My guess is that he would most likely seek vengeance against Fisk for betraying him and causing his injuries, while also going after Daredevil at the same time. Now, you may be asking yourself, why does Dex still hate Daredevil so much if he's free from Fisk? Well, Daredevil becomes sort of a symbol of rejection for Dex, and his obsession with control and rejection only fuels this feud between them. The repetition of being defeated by Matt Murdock humiliates Dex, deepening his resentment. We should also keep in mind Dex's mental state, as he suffers from borderline personality disorder and heaps of unresolved rage and trauma. By the end of the season, Dex is left broken both physically and mentally, and his obsessive personality and inability to take responsibility for his own actions directs all his anger towards Daredevil. And that just about wraps up everything you need to know about Bullseye before Daredevil Born Again. We are so close to 200 subscribers, it is insane. Thank you all so much, and thank you all for all the nice comments and all the nice messages on Instagram. I read them all and I love it, so thank you. Be sure to let me know what you guys want to see next, and until then, I will see you all in the next one. Bye!